Hello friends and welcome to another episode of 3 Minute Game Pass. I'm Nathan and today I'm going to tell you if this Game Pass game is worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is the Riftbreaker. Okay, so hear me out. We make this game, see? It's got mech dual stick shooting, it's got base building, it's got survival elements, it's got tower defense, it's got a tech tree, and some Factorio automation, just a little bit. Does that sound impossible? Welcome to the Riftbreaker. The Riftbreaker is a release on Xbox and PC. For Xbox, it is Series console only, so you have to have a Series X or S in order to play it. It will last you about 30 to 40 hours, and the game doesn't feature any cross-save or cross-achievements or anything like that. So what exactly is the Riftbreaker? Well, the Riftbreaker is, well, it's everything I said in the intro. I'm not going to repeat all that. But at its core, it's a base building and defending game with some resource management. As Ashley and her snarky robot suit Riggs, your goal is to colonize a handful of increasingly hostile planets. In order to do that, you'll need resources, technologies, and lots of mining and power. Oh, and the local fauna wants you dead, so look out for that too. The initial phases of the campaign help teach you the basics of what is expected. You need to mine resources to build buildings, but those take power. You can build renewable power like solar and wind, but that isn't 100% dependable. You could sacrifice resources for power, but then you won't have those resources to build buildings later. And, you know, you also want to upgrade your mech, so you need resources for that too. And as you expand and tech up, you'll need walls, guns, and new mech powers to continue building more advanced buildings and defending your base from the local wildlife. After some time, you'll get the ability to go to other worlds, which are somehow more hostile than the one you started on, and do a lot of the cycle over again. Repeat until you complete the campaign, conquering every environment and playing alien tower defense for the past dozens of hours. I think that mostly describes it, but damn if this game doesn't have a lot happening in it. So what do I like about the Riftbreaker? Well, I am surprised, but the genre mixing works tremendously well. It's got a great mix of tower defense, base building, and mech customization. It checks all those boxes for me, and the tech tree is massive, which I love that too, so all that stuff works great. Similarly, it's extremely addicting. There's always something to do and discover, some way to make everything more efficient, some new resource to find and explore. There's just tons to do in this game that keep you coming back. And lastly, I really like the outpost concept where you warp to other parts of the planet and build side bases to gather particular resources in those biomes. It made it so it wasn't the whole process of building a base again, but you did get to build kind of a mini base to get more resources, which was cool. When it comes to the bad, this game has a lot of things you have to manage at one time. Power, input from all the mining operations you have across multiple outposts, all sorts of stuff like that. It is a management game. If you don't like managing that many resources, you will find this frustrating as it is a bit tricky. Secondly, I found the ending challenge to be just way too hard. I know I like a challenge in video games, but this ending challenge was over the top in how difficult it was and how easy it was to fail. I feel like they could have toned it down. And lastly, and this is the biggest one, playing on a controller is just painful. This game is clearly designed for a keyboard and mouse. Even the menus emphasize using like cursors and keyboard and mouse. And you really should not be playing this game on a controller. You can plug a keyboard and mouse into your Xbox for the optimal experience, which I would suggest doing, or playing on computer. But yeah, the controller needs some work if it's going to be as effective and as fun. Says you know I rate games on a 3-point scale. Must play, maybe consider, don't bother. This game is absolutely a must play on PC or with a keyboard and mouse. And I do think it's also a bit of a hidden gem as it kind of came in under the radar for me, and I think it did for a lot of other people too. This game is absolutely worth playing. If you're playing on controller, it's a maybe consider, because the game is still fun, but it's clearly designed for keyboard and mouse in mind. But by using the correct control method, this game is an absolute blast. It's fun, it's challenging, it's addicting, and it's satisfying. Making the world's most badass base and badass mech to conquer hostile planets was never so satisfying. It's an absolute gem of a game, and be sure to check it out with a keyboard and mouse. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Go out there and enjoy the hell out of the Riftbreaker.